Press the button. It's going to happen soon. All right, we are live. So, again, we had lovely little tech things. Plus, to tell you the truth, we were conversating. We were enjoying ourselves. So, but welcome to Voice Lessons with Monifa. I have this amazing guest, Imogen Ingram. And again, I got to remember to ask to make sure I'm saying the name correctly. Did that go well?
That's
Yes?
perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so glad and happy that you're here with us today. And Imogen loves to sing, but she sings for herself and she invites others to have some fun with her. But it's for fun mostly, is what she was telling me, and how she wants to do it. So we may explore a little bit of kind of just seeing what the voice wants to do, and we have an idea, like kind of just improvising, channeling is what I like to call it sometimes. But first, we're gonna get warmed up. We're gonna do a couple things so that the voice moves easily. We're gonna get comfy, familiar with being out here in a live public uh, for a second. But let's get centered first with our first exercise. So we're just going to breathe all the way out, this way we did when we were about to come on. So breathing out through the perineum, through the floor, into the earth, releasing all the air available to S's to feel those muscles that are helping, and releasing to bring the breath in from the earth. And if you ever find that I'm taking too long, just breathe on your own timing. You want to feel the muscles, but you don't want to panic. So, something in between. So, as you kind of start feeling your own timing, breathing all the way out, we do want to feel a little bit like we can feel other things like the sit bones. And that comes at pretty much the end of the breath. Breathing back in from the earth. So we're just doing that a few times. Yeah, I don't do this any less than 3 times, because you'll find each time something else will relax, something else will open up, some more energy will come in more freely available. And that's the point of it. So you really can't do too much of this. I just know that people come to make sounds and not to breathe. So we usually move on from there. But enjoy this part, this ease you want to take into the vocal practice, okay? And so we're just gonna, again, breathing all the way out, releasing all the air available, going to S's, breathing back in from the earth through the perineum from below. Feeling below the belly button, feeling that warmth that happens below the belly button. And that's why I think of it as below the belly button, because it helps us be aware that something happens in the belly when we do that. So a lot of what I'm doing is 4 actions, what I call like kind of a movement oriented exercise or awareness. Okay, because like if we're just doing if it was just breath work, then we would just be like, oh, I'm more relaxed, and that's the end of that, right? But what we're doing here is with awareness, recalling where how the body is moving, feeling, doing. Okay? And with that, the movement is necessary because we don't do anything being still, right? And so when we have this kind of active movement of energy that we can feel, it brings us into the awareness of how things are going to go when we sing. It's not going to be some kind of like slight thing happening. There's going to be a lot of movement fairly quickly, right? And then as it also, as we do these, you might notice that it starts to get pretty warm here. And so what I've heard from some people who have done more breath work than and voice work is that they would often bring their tongue to the roof of their mouth to complete cycle or complete the loop of the energy. It's like our tongue is like a little connector battery thingy. So when you bring it to the roof of the mouth, it will kind of cycle back into the body and energize the body. That's useful if you're not needing to use your voice. So add the tongue if you're maybe just wanting some more energy for the day or whatever. But if you are actually going to vocalize or you're doing any level of self expression, like writing, any connection or communication, I recommend not like use the impetus to get started because it'll kind of get us over that nervous hump, right? So breathing all the way out, round S's. And releasing, breathing back in from the earth when you're done. Just let it open up the body. Once we feel the energy move into the belly, we can track it moving through the body. Okay? And that's another thing that's good to know. We might be wanting to be more aware of where our body wants more energy. So if you're doing any energy work, this is a really good practice to find out what maybe next you want to work on, what chakras, what areas of the organs. And then if it's just a sensation, then we can also, again, recall those sensations. There are sensations, emotions, energy and motion that we can tap into when we are expressing as well. So when we're vocalizing and singing as well. Okay? So each one, I almost did it. I didn't do it, but I almost did it. Sorry, the other thing was talking to me and I get confused, so I just have to stop. But I'm leaving it open in case like anybody has any questions, so that's why I'm staying open to this. So yeah, so as we go, we're going to do our next sound. So our next sound is going to be a sigh. And whenever we're making sound, it's just the breath that we were just doing plus extra vowels. So the vowel is ah, and we're going to put an M on top of it so we feel like a hum vibration, right? Ah. You want to try that?
Ah.
Beautiful. And as we do it on any side, we really want to let that M, that vibration feed back to the body. And again, make us aware of like the warmth that builds up, the warmth that moves as we are making sound, right? So, ma.
Ah.
Yeah. And so what I'm doing is really tracking, like where's that vibration going? Like it's pretty strong here in the beginning, and we're pretty low in our voices right now. So it's going to have some vibration to it. And when we are following that, it's moving, right? So I tend to move my body if I feel like something's moving, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really just kind of
that makes sense.
allowing for that.
Yeah.
So now wherever it moves from there is fine.
Ah.
Yeah, and what I love is that it kind of runs down the spine and kind of instead of like forcing ourselves upright and on like a singer's posture or type of thing, it kind of just gently lines you up, right? When we follow that vibration. And it's feeling through the spine, through the sit bones, into the floor.
I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, take your time.
Ah.
Yeah, so when we do, the first step is moving on all the air available. So when we start anytime, moving as much air as available. Mm. Ah.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what happens. We're going to do some more vowels.
Oh.
As in at bed.
Mm.
Yeah. And so, well, as we release, let it be like dropping a ball, so like from here, without throwing it, right? So release the belly. Hmm. Hmm. Right? We're just releasing. We're not pushing. Okay? Ma.
Ah.
There you go. And then
Ah.
just kind of again feeling through the sit bones to the floor into the earth as where is that. The hard thing about the voices is always moving, so there feels like there's no stability. So instead of feeling like I have to go find some stability, just use your sit bones, use your body, use the earth. Right? That's why we're having that as a focal point. No.
Ah.
Yes, you don't have to do it on our own. That's what the earth's there for. We've been standing on her all our lives. Not going to drop us now. So we can just let the earth take it, right? Whenever we're like, I don't know what to do with this. Where do I put it? How do I set it down? Back to the earth. Have you ever had that feeling where you're just like, this is the note. I don't know how to stop from like that feeling? I've had that feeling. Um, so how do we stop? We let go. We let it go. We release back to breath. Without the vowel, there is no sound. So we really just have to let the breath keep moving and stop making the vowel. But because you don't do anything to stop making a vowel, that's where it gets confusing. Because then, like, I have to stop is doing, right? I have to do something about stopping, right? Instead of just back to air, just going back to breath, just releasing to earth, just let it go. Yeah.
Oh, I funny. I pull it in and then I hold it. So
Okay.
that's really interesting because I'm finding the up breath, the hold, and then the release is fine. So somehow that first part for me, I'm pausing. Wow,
Yes.
that's really interesting. Okay. Ah.
Yeah. So we can even see that, like, because when you do the pause thing and go up, right?
Yeah.
And you'll find like a lot of teachers say like, drop the shoulders, drop the
Drop the
shoulders.
shoulders.
Right, because we think we have to fill up this way,
Yeah.
but the lungs aren't going anywhere. They're actually not going up to fill up, right?
Yeah.
Nothing in the physiology is going up to fill up. It's all going down all the time, which is what is confusing for a lot of people. So it's actually the lungs will actually fill up downward as the diaphragm moves, right? So the feeling is like pot belly after dinner, not
Yeah.
like I'm lifting heavy weights, right? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
Ah. That's such a helpful
yes,
visual. That changes
yes.
everything, right?
Did y'all have Calgon commercials in Australia? Imogen's in Australia, so you got to ask these questions. Because when I was growing up, they had like these bubble bath commercials, and like they developed like shower gel after a while. But like the first ones were they like this lady in a bath with the steam and the bubbles of in the bubble bath, and they're like, "Calgon, take me away." And it's just like this super feminine slump. Okay, so
Okay, right. So we're channeling feminine
that,
pop. I love it. I can do that.
yeah, we're like kind of womb generating here a little bit. Mom.
Mm, ah.
Yeah. So it's not like this structured, like, if it was more of a masculine energy idea, just be like the spine going like a
Yeah.
transformer or something, right? Like just like into place. But and the feminine body, there's a natural sway, right? There's like every body, every movement
Yeah.
is a sway, right? So it's like when we breathe out, we naturally kind of go this way, right? When we breathe in, we naturally kind of go this way. I'm exaggerating so people can tell, but like even my pelvic area is moving back and forth, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of this natural spinal movement, and it sways back and forth, and then so what the difference is that when we breathe out with a vowel, then there's enough breath tension. I hate the word the tension, but there's enough breath there that the body can only relax down from the spine. It can't really relax down from here, which is why we feel like we need more space, right? If we
Mm.
relax down, we'll find the space, right?
Mm.
So breathing out into the earth, breathing in from the earth. When you're ready.
Ah.
Yeah. And that is when we move into the poo, it'll be more quick of a movement, but it is the same movement. Okay, it's just faster. So we're going to do poo sounds. Oops, I got to turn on. Poo. And just all the breath available. Ooh at the vocal cord, P on top of it, just like we're doing with the ah below it, right? Poo. I don't even know this right now. Poo. There you go. Yeah, we're just
It
gonna
wasn't
keep.
very relaxed. I was just watching myself. Anyway.
It's interesting because the breath moves so fast, and then we feel like we have to do something about it, right? So we tense up. So instead, we want that natural. Okay, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm gonna release it to the earth. Anything we don't know, just release it. Like we're like, what do I do now? Release. Like, and that's what we want to be the automatic reaction. Our habit as women is we don't know what to do. Try harder. That's kind of our programming up until now. We're gonna reframe that programming.
So true. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you don't know what to do, release. That release allows us to open up to what was want to be done, right? Instead of what we think we have to do,
Mm.
right? Breathing all the way out, sinuses, and then poo. Yeah. And the note's just there to give the body a framework of what's happening. We don't actually have to hit it, but it's just an idea to have in our head so we have that's how the body forms the movement. Okay, we'll just say it like that. Body doesn't know what to do without kind of clear information, and the clarity comes from the sound. Okay, so how does it know what sound is? How fast or short it is, when it starts, when it stops, if it's soft or it's loud, if it's right, and then the vowels are the quality, the resonance quality. Oh, hey, oh, yeah, these different resonance qualities, and then the P is just our percussion. It's just going to help us not get hung up with holding onto the air, which just happens for a lot of us, right? So
Yeah.
we're just poof, and we just keep doing it to see what happens.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, that's good. So that just means that we let all the air out, but then we went ooh, ready to go. Not We're not waiting till we say P to say ooh, right? That's why the P is on top of ooh. Okay, already saying ooh. Pooh.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
That
See
felt
that?
really different. I totally felt it all the way, down. Yeah.
That's how you know we're cooking with gas, y'all. When you can feel the movement of the body in correlation to the sound.
Huh.
right? Because if we're relying on our ears alone, our ears are not always accurate. Why? Because we're listening while we're already singing and there's sound resonating in our head and vibration. Because we're listening maybe to the room and the room has different resonance, but depending on how fast which sound wave hit which wall, right? So if we're depending on these afterburner external things to correlate our accuracy, or if we're in line with what we want, then we are confused.
Mm.
This correlates directly with life, folks. If you have to look externally for what is actually happening, then you're already confused because you're only going to get whatever's your perceptions can pick up and the after effects of what you've already done. Once you see it, it's too late. Once you've said the sound already, it's too late. You can't fix what's already done, right? But you can have a clear picture of where you are for what's next. Okay? And that's what's great about singing, because all you need is a new vowel to start on that new path of what's next. Yeah? Let's do this one. Pooh. Yeah.
It'll be
So
forced. Okay.
well, what happens is if we wait till it gets to the mouth, it's too late. It has to meet the vowel down here. And then all that pressure goes to the mouth and you feel like you have to do something with it. And that's where the tension comes from, right? Pooh. I don't even know how to say that. Go ahead. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Yeah. Good.
that was lower. Yeah, right.
Again. Yeah.
Oh, oh no, that didn't work.
That's okay.
Oh,
Again.
oh,
Keep going.
oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So she tried about 5 different things there, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
I
She's
did.
experimenting. Which is great. That's what we should be doing. If you want to know how your voice works, then you have to see what happens. Like, you don't know until you experience it. And that's true for most of life. Anything you're trying to create, manifest that you haven't experienced yet, you don't know how. If you knew how, you would have, because you want it, right? Same thing with the voice. If you aren't doing it yet, it's because you don't know how. How do you figure it out? Is be clear and present to what's happening and try something,
Mm.
right? But if you're not clear and present, then you can't get an accurate read, and then it takes longer to find the right thing, right? But if we're clear and present, we can read the signs, we can feel the body, we can say, oh, when my body moved like this happened. When my body moved like that happened. And I don't want any of those right now, but I'll remember that for later, because you're going to need it later. And what a lot of people do is like they hit the wrong note and are like, that's wrong. That's awful. I never want to do that again. And like, there goes a note. We literally, it's like a trauma response, right? And as we know, when we disguise things to protect ourselves from trauma, is that it just means that you no longer are clear of what's happening anytime you're approaching anything that resembles your trauma. So we lose literal notes from this. This is why a lot of people feel like they can't sing high notes, this kind of thing, because it's like we've connected it to some kind of I don't want this, right?
Mm.
So like it's all good, and the only thing that happened is that voice at the vocal cord. So vowel at the vocal cord is the other way I say that. Let's do a thing that we can kind of have more sensory remembrance about this, which is ka. So we're just gonna, same way, breathe out when we say the sound. Ka.
Ah,
Good. Let's do that a couple times. Feel how the belly moves, feel how your body moves when you do that.
ah, ah, ah,
Yeah.
ah.
And that solidity we think is coming from the K, but it's actually coming from the vowel. So we can be
Mm.
that solid in any sound we make if we are in awareness and understanding that that sound is starting here, right? Ah, you want to try that without the K?
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh,
even more.
wait.
Ah,
Ah. Ah.
yes.
Oh, wow. That I really felt the expansion on that one.
Yeah, the more you're
Ah.
feeling, the more it's connected. And the more, again, you can track what's happening so we can determine where we're going next, right? So let's do an poo again. Poo.
Oh.
Yep, and so this one is really airy, so just let the air out. Poo.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So this is a characteristic sound. Most people aren't using this sound to sing with, but what characteristic sounds do is build the voice, the muscles that run the voice box. Okay. So, they're part of what we want to practice, and along the way, it's also going to start reprogramming us to understand that different sounds don't necessarily take something different from the body. They just manifest differently with intention. So when we change the vowel, the sound will sound different, but it won't change just if you like throw your body in another direction, right? Like, which is what we tend to do. Is like, I'm going to throw my body up because it's a high note, right? And it's like the body's like, what? Like that's not how that happens, and it just kind of gives up on you. Um, that's what the body's like. Okay, if that's what you want to do, it'll just stop, which is where we get kind of the
Yeah.
freeze feeling. Let's do a ma sigh in this register. So ma.
Ah. 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 Ah.
Yeah. So, and then as we go, we start analyzing while we're singing, and the sound gets shallower and shallower. So the breath isn't fully releasing out yet right now. And also, we've lost the kind of the see and possibility of the openness of that because we're losing the backside of the body. We're not, there's a lot of muscles that physically help us on the backside of the body, the lower back, all diaphragm stuff is happening. I'm sorry, intercostal stuff is happening. Uh, there's stuff that you don't care about happening, okay? So we just need to allow for it to happen. That's our only job. We just have to allow it to move if it wants to. And most of the movement is happening below the belly button. Everything else is a reaction to that. So, I know, I know, teachers staring at me right now. I know, but it's a reaction. And any reaction, we want control. We have no control over that. We have no control over most of the voice. Diaphragm is not like what do they call it? Auto. It's automatic, right? It's automatic. We have no cognitive control to like say move diaphragm. If I set our mind move diaphragm, the diaphragm will be like, right? The muscles that run the vocal voice box that are shifting it back and forth to make the different sounds are the same. We have no control over them. You can't be like, voice box muscles move. Nothing will happen. So
Yeah.
how do we make something happen, right? We say it, we think a vowel, because that's what the voice is for, is to communicate. So when we think, I want to say ah, then something happens. You don't even have to say it. Something happened,
Yeah.
right? That's the difference. So if we say, I go up for the high note, yeah, my body just like, sounds nice. That looks cute. What are you? You must be talking to somebody else, right? Like the body has no understanding of that. If you play the note, something happens.
Yeah. Because I feel the resonance of that in me. So I'm like, oh, okay. I feel you.
Yes.
I'm talking to you. I can respond to you. Yeah.
And that's natural. That's a human response. It doesn't take,
Yeah.
I don't know, Pavarotti to do that, right? We're all born with this. If you can hear it, you'll respond, right? I mean, obviously, we're not all born the same way, but if you can hear it, you'll respond, right? And so that response is actually the information we need to make the movement that will make the note.
Wow.
Okay? So as long as we're open and available to that, any note will come out, right? I mean, we might need to build up some muscles for the ones that take a little bit more strength. But other than that, any note will come out, right? So I do the ma, ma. Feel that warmth that runs through when you do that.
Ah,
Yeah, gorgeous.
ah, ah.
You feel that kind of wave of warmth that goes through the body?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's the
Wow.
movement necessary to make those sounds, right? Ma. Ah, 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 ah.
Ah,
Yeah. Give it a little
ah.
more.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, no. Give it more space at the initiation because again, we think all the important parts happens when people can hear us, but actually, the important part is happening when we feel it. That's the important part. Like the
Okay.
rest is determined by that, and so we want to feel it first, and then worry about the rest. And we don't want to worry about anything, but you know what I'm saying. We want to feel it. No.
Ah.
Yeah.
Sounded
Yeah, it happens that way because again we are thinking more of our mouth whenever that
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Whenever it's right at the vocal cord, it's immediate, it's visceral. If we're waiting to experience it till afterward, then usually something weird happens here, and then it'll kind of hop, skip, or break. Like if we're singing a note. So, no.
Hmm.
Yeah, just fill it out. You feel how far the belly's dropping?
Ah. Sorry.
Feel how far the belly's dropping, right at that M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So we go to poo. Poo. You see how the belly drops to the same space?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? It's the
Very.
same starting note, and so the body is making space for that, right? More.
Ah.
Poo.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I'm feeling it so much more here. Hmm.
Yeah. And one of the things, especially the passaggio, which is the middle part of the voice where we speak the most often, and it often gets confusing when we're singing because we have to determine like what quality of sound we want and have a little bit of experience of that before we start moving back and forth between that thing because it'll change on us or break on us. So that area that nobody likes, like it's not that high. Why am I having a problem? That's what that area is. You want to do a lot of sighing through that space. Whenever the voice is doing that thing where you can't figure out where it wants to go, sigh. And I know teachers are like, never sigh, never slide, blah, 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 blah. And I say slide all the time until you know you don't have to. Right? Because slides are going to tell you, like, you are here. The note is here. You are here. The note is here, right? So if you're not sure where the note is, if you're not sure you can make it to the note, slide. Yeah. Because it's going to tell you how the body's going to move to live that range of sound, which is move or experience or allow for that sound. Yeah. So let's do a little bit of hop skibbities. Ha, 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 ha. So ah, 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 ah. The H just happens because we happen to be breathing at the same time. Okay, we don't actually have to say H. It's an aspiration. Okay, so we literally, it's not something we make with our sounds. We just let the air move through, right? Oh, 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 oh,
Oh, so get really tense. Okay. Ha 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 ha.
oh. Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
And we'll be less likely to tense up if we just like here, 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 here. Oh, 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 oh.
Ha 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 ha.
You hear how resonant that is in the
That was
room?
so different. That was so different. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just nice, open, spacious. It doesn't have all that face tension in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, 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 oh. Same.
Ha 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 ha.
You see how you want to go up? That's a habit. We're
Yeah.
going to retrain
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Through
Ha
the
ha
floor.
ha ha ha.
Yeah. So any high note just needs more space so the air can move more quickly. How does our body create more space? Well, the body is within the framework of the spine and the skeleton. It's not trying to move outside of the skeleton to do something, right? How does it make more space? Downward. It's actually going to drop, the back of the tongue will drop, the throat will the head will come back so the throat can open up. I don't know that's a note, but try it anyway.
I'm just visualizing that down. Can you do that down movement again for me? Like you were
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, let me try that again.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes. And all the extra movement, we're going to let the body move, but our awareness is just going to be in allowing for spaciousness downward because everything else we have no control over. Okay? We have no control over the muscles moving enough to get to the vocal cord space of whatever. We have no control over the diaphragm itself and throwing more air at it. Anything we do there is just going to throw off our timing and accuracy. So what we just need to let go and let God into the earth. Right? But I think more let go on the earth.
Let go on the earth. I like that. Let go on the earth. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the higher we go, the more we let go.
Ha 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 ha.
I gotta find it. So we're close to this. Let's do this one.
Ha
Good.
ha ha. Oh, I overthought that one. Okay, hang on.
That's okay. Breathe out to get back to center. Breathe in from the earth to focus.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. That's my fault.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Still looking up.
I know.
Did you feel it?
It's
And then
so
it was
hard
like, no, she was looking at her lap. I saw it.
Yeah.
Like, but did you see her go this way, right? So
yeah, I felt that. I
that's
was
the
like, oh.
same difference. You're thinking up, right?
I did. Yeah.
Ha
Ha ha ha ha ha.
Yeah. Sound at the vocal cord.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes. If you don't move the vowel around or try to yank the vocal cords up to get to the high note, it'll just happen. We think high notes are hard because we yank the vocal cords out of position
Yeah.
and we literally make it harder, right?
Like we've been taught, like in a choir situation, right? We're going very high and
like approach from above, right?
And yeah, that's exactly right. And everything's kind of going up,
Yeah,
like
it's like
movement of your whoever are going up.
it's like
So
how do I get above my body? Yeah, it's not happening. So, and then for larger voices, especially, that's just like the kiss of death. We actually need a lot of grounding to accurately move into a high note. Even a light, fluffy high note, right? Sopranos. I'm not a soprano. I'm a soprano. So you have a thing. But you could actually, if you are having a larger voice, you actually have to get below your body, which is possible. Why? Because our auric field is already there, right? And it's above us too. But that ephemeral space is actually why our resonators are in places. We're already kind of built architecturally for the upward. The downward we have to be more aware of. Okay? We just do.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain that one.
I'm just loving this whole reorienting of that awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always said, like, we're always kind of searching for the high note up here. Like, I'm making fun of myself because this is, these are the things I would do in a practice room because, of what
Yeah, no, that's perfect. What you just showed is exactly what happens. It's like the whole and
like,
then it's
yeah,
about
like we're going to go find the note.
yeah, as opposed to it's already here.
Yeah,
That's
the vocal, like I
yeah.
said, like I love to say, the vocal cords aren't going anywhere, folks. They are here. They aren't going to Hawaii. They're not going to Dubai. They're not. They're not traveling anywhere. They are here. So if you're looking out here, it's not useful, right? But what I love to do is find my high notes below me, right? Because my voice is really big and really deep, and so when I literally have to just kind of expand downward, right? And then it's so interesting what happens because the more downward you get, the more the upper palate lifts. I don't know if you can feel that because the upper palate doesn't have a lot of nerve endings either, but it has more than the vocal cords. So, so as we are doing this, right, where are we looking for indicators? How do we tell our parameters for our voice in our body? Most of this stuff is useless. It's not telling us much that we're going to understand without some physiology lessons, right? Like anatomy maybe more than physiology up here, but because it's pretty bone structure based. But when we move, like where does the sound go? Like if we want to go look for it, it's down there.
Yeah.
Like, where do I feel it? I feel it
Yes,
just below my feet.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting? But I have a really low voice. I think you might be a soprano. I'm not sure yet.
I
You
think
have
so.
a
I'm
pretty
yeah.
dynamic voice, so that's awesome.
Ugh.
So our sound is as good as our vowel. If you ever like, I wish I didn't make that one. Well, then it's the vowel. It's not the voice. It's the
Ah,
vowel. How clear is your vowel? Did you say it? That's the question. Because if you tried
no,
to sing it, which is throwing air at it,
I didn't say. Okay.
you're like, right? So that's the singing version of ah, and then they're just ah, released enough for the body to allow the note. It's another way I like to simulate that one. How far is the body gonna move to move fast enough to do that vibration, right? But that's technical. But give yourself the space to see what happens. Yeah, again.
Oh, sorry, I didn't go up. I forgot.
It's
Okay.
okay. That's fine. You don't need to go back, actually. That's actually really good. I know you want to refine the sound, but it's actually really good. You just again notice that the vowel wasn't what you intended, right? It was
Yeah.
really thinking ah and went more ah, right? So
Yeah.
that's all that happened. Everything else is great. Okay? Let's do a little experiment. Well, actually, we're not high enough for that. Okay, we'll stay here. Let's do it again. Just see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. Let me practice that. Ha 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 ha. Oh, okay. I felt the
You
okay.
see how much your body's allowed to move there? That's how
Yeah.
much you're restricting when it's trying to do this. Right? There's a lot of movement happening. It's not all visual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement happening. Yeah, allow for it, don't make it.
Oh, I took a breath at the wrong time. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, good. We're gonna do a cycle of these, so I like to do them in threes. Yeah, I think I was a little flat. I know, it's so confusing. It's one breath through the perineum, through the floor.
Damn, I keep having that thing where I breathe in and then I pause. Okay.
Good, it's good. I
Yeah,
know we're
I mean, it's
cracking
good.
ourselves up here. But that's just again, that's the habit. Like whenever we have
Uh,
those kind of tension habits,
yeah,
it takes some time to
absolutely.
reprogram, which is
Yeah, yeah.
why practice is a thing, right? But like, but it's like the more you do it, the more you realize, oh, this is way easier if I could just stop doing other
Yeah.
stuff,
Well, if I
right?
could stop just kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So just think of it as a release, not as a, right?
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I was
And
trying to just really stay there, but yeah,
it's okay because there's like kind of a diametrical duality happening always with voice in both directions. So if we pay too much attention to one thing, the other thing may not happen, right?
yeah, because
So
I was
the two
paying too much.
things
Yeah, yeah,
are the breath and the vowel, right? And then everything else is to allow for that. Okay? So the staying open is to allow for the breath that's necessary for the sound to move through. To the vowel is for the breath to have some place to focus the sound to move through, right? So the timing is a thing. If we're trying to time our belly to the sound, we are messing ourselves up. Watch this. Ha! Right? You do it. You do it.
ha,
Did you
ha,
feel that?
yeah,
Did you feel that most of the movement was after?
yeah, it was.
And then there was like
It's
this
like
kind of
delay. Yeah,
and yeah, and then let's do it again, and I want you to see what happens before. Ha!
ha,
You feel that?
yeah. Breath
It
in.
actually, yeah, that breath in was so weird. It's like, without sound, the breath in is just kind of mostly a release, right? But when the body gets ready to make a sound, especially a strong sound like that one, it'll go like the belly, everything will stretch. It's weird. I don't know why exactly, but everything stretches, right? It feels like, again, like the belly is expanding. I think of it as dough, like it's kind of rolling outward. Ha! And the more I'm conscious of that, the more the body, I'm allowing it for the body, right? Ha!
Ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha.
So anytime we're making sound, the body's doing extra stuff before and after it. We can't time based on that. Our timing is within the intention. The timing is ha 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 ha. It's in our head. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm. I don't know. So no good. At least it was a triad. Okay, so so when we have the movement, right? Don't worry about what's happening. Just think and hear. Yeah, you want to try it? Try it a few times. Back to earth again. sorry. I interrupted.
No, 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 there's no, no.
Great. And then again, you're throwing H's at it. You don't need them.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. We are the smart ones are always overthinking it. So it actually takes us long. I mean, calling myself smart here and lack of humility, whatever. But like, it takes us longer, right? Because I lived the life. Okay, it takes us longer because we overthink things. Our brains get in the way, and we think we're doing something, and then we think if I do it the same way, it'll work. It doesn't. Right? You have to be present to what is now. Every time you make a sound, it changes the resonance of the body, the field, and the vibration. Literally, every time you start, it's new. It's a new thing. You can be singing the exact same notes, and it'll be completely new. So whenever we try to sing something exactly like we did it in that one day, it went really great in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. Okay? I know from experience, folks. Trust me on this. Okay, so yeah, so let's just do poo. We're gonna just do like a single poo now. So we'll go poo, and just real quick. Yeah, ooh at the vocal cord. Yeah. So right now it's getting eaten a little bit. Let's go. Are you on a computer?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to turn on your original sound for musicians on Zoom. So see if you can find that in the audio settings. You just go to the audio mic and then the settings, and then it'll be one of those little dot choices.
Live performance audio.
Interesting.
Oh,
That's new.
original sound. Sorry, original
No,
sound.
it's fine because that
No,
might
I
work
found
too.
it. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, okay. So hopefully, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that'll
clicked the
help
original
just
sound. Yeah.
a Zoom not think it's an echo, okay? So, yeah. Yeah, you're still swallowing it a little bit, okay? So how do you know? Because how do I know? Because the sound's not reaching the microphone. That's how I know. It's a cheater code. Like, so what happens is that when we are throwing the sound, that it actually stagnates, and the microphone will think that it's a background sound. Like it's not supposed to go through the microphone because it's too different. Okay, so that's one of my online teaching hacks for my teachers out there. So so what we want is actually that we are not again forcing the breath outward, right? That we're releasing the breath down.
Yeah. Because I was.
Yeah, there you go. We want the belly to move. Pretty good, pretty good. But what's happening is that you're just higher in the body because that's where you're focusing. Okay? So let's focus again through the feet, through the floor, into the earth.
Oh,
You feel how much stuff just released?
yeah.
Yeah. So all that tension is making you have to push, right? You're going to come down a little bit. Poof!
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah. So right now what's really kicking in the butt is that the belly collapsing before you do the thing right now. It's really affecting you, right? Because it's throwing the timing that the body wants to do to move outward just before the thing, right? So let's do like we're just gonna do some slideys again. No. Yeah. No. No. Yeah, still saying ah the vocal cords. So further down than you think. No. There you go. You feel how it opens up down there?
Yeah.
That openness is actually what's missing on the poo.
Oh.
We actually need stuff we don't
Oh.
know we need. A lot of singers are doing this. They're making sounds with less than what the body wants to use to support it. Okay, and so the reason why that bothers me is because the eventually it causes tension. Eventually it causes voice loss. Eventually it causes vocal notes. Eventually it's just not healthy, right? And so especially when we're singing and we wanted to create love and health and all these things for other people and using our voice for that, like we want our bodies to be in a align vibratory space for that work, right? And so when we let that openness create the warmth is the healing, is really how I think of it. So even if you're like losing your voice or getting sick, right? If we're allowing that warmth to come into the vocal cord, it'll actually start healing it. Okay? So and the body itself. It's just a way of accessing the flow of our movements, our energetic movements. So when we go "Ma," and poo, 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 yeah, no, let it give us a sense of where the poo wants to be. So "Ma," we're just playing around, make some sounds. Poo, poo, "Ma." And my hands also on my belly. Very good. Let's try this one. Ma, poo. Good. Ma, poo. Yeah, so it's always so interesting to me about the fifth slide is that it's just enough to give us the relaxation and spaciousness we need. And for most of my clients, this looks like saying poo first, realizing that's how much the body is going to move, and then allowing for that much spaciousness when we are saying an elongated sound. And for you, this is looking like going ma, and then being as relaxed as we are at the end of ma when we do poo. Poo. That we don't lose that relaxed openness when we go to poo, right? So let's try this one again. Ma, poo. Again. Yeah.
Oh, no, that didn't do it.
Yeah. And so what's happening right now, again, is the thought. The thought is
Yeah.
happening a lot. And what I
Yeah.
don't like to do is because I guess, especially because we're like looking at cameras on the YouTubies and all this stuff, is like I don't want to kind of like a safety blanket is to have our eyes closed. But the reality is, if our eyes are closed, we're probably only looking at the front of the body,
Ah,
and yeah, and also the eyes closed, we lose a lot of our energetic impetus because there's no recognition of space because
okay.
it's
Yeah,
not real to the
that,
spirit, right? So like, so once we close our eyes, we're just like, it's just me here, right? So this is that we
yeah.
lose our impetus a little bit. And then, so yeah, and then the awareness, I call it the 360 in every direction. So above and below, but in front and behind, on the sides. Mm, no, poo. So belly and when you're ready.
Ah, ah. I can't seem to get it to go up, so I'm just not going to try.
Yeah, yeah, don't try.
Ah, poo, ah, poo.
Isn't that annoying? Like, it's like, I was working so hard before and it didn't work, and now I'm not thinking about it and it's doing
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Ah, poo. Yeah.
It's right
So
there.
different with
Yeah.
eyes open. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. So we think we're being so romantic, so sensory alive when we close our eyes, but we're actually losing a lot. It's actually
Yeah.
a scientific thing. Yeah, we've even found that with people who have disabilities within their sight um, senses, that if they leave a voice teacher for a certain amount of time, the voice gets fuzzier and fuzzier until they come back to like a sighted connection of some kind. So whether they're singing with other sighted people or, and it's a weird thing, but you know, if you haven't ever heard somebody who is blind sing, like it's beautimous because it's also this amazing ethereal warm quality that happens in that perspective, right? So so it's, yeah, I recommend it. But yeah, so it's just an awareness of like how our body responds to our senses, right?
Mm.
Let's do a little fun exercise. This is actually step 4 of my Oman's method, that we are going to look at 2 different colors, and then we're going to make a sound about it. Okay, so how do we look? So when we're looking, we're going to find something to look at. It can be colors, it can be a different object in the room. Sometimes that matters, like if it's a hard object or a soft object. So just breathing out. Did you find your object? And then just going to breathe out, looking at that object. We're going to breathe in, release the belly, looking at that object. And we're going to pick a vowel. I'm going to pick ah. Oh. That's really,
Ah.
yeah. And we're going to pick something a little different. So let's find some differences and find something else. Oh, yeah, I do that one. And then we're just going to do it again. And same vowel. We're just going to breathe out, looking at it. And breathe in, breathing it in. Ah. Okay, that's interesting. How is yours different?
Sorry.
Did you do the second one?
Did I do? Was it the same object or a different object?
A different object this
Oh,
time.
bollocks. Sorry, I chose the same object.
Okay.
Okay. I'll now do a different
A
object.
different object, a different object.
I've got a different object. Yeah.
Okay, so breathe out, looking at it. Breathe in, looking at it. Ah. And how did
Yeah.
it feel different when you did that?
It was more playful. Yeah. Totally different
Yeah.
color. Like warm and cool. The first one was cool. Second one was warm. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. There's like, and so yeah, so this is just our natural understanding that we already are picking up on things that we don't know we're picking up on. So for my highly sensitives, this is my proof that yes, you're actually picking on vibrations, up vibrations on everything. And so when it feels overwhelming, it's probably because you are overwhelmed, and we need to get more present, more connected to discern all of that, right? Once we discern it, we're less anxious about it because it's known now, right? And so it's just kind of allowing ourselves to let the environment speak to us or not. So if you're getting that input and it's overwhelming and it's too much, you can decide not to allow it to apply, right, to what you're doing and how you're feeling and how you want to move forward, right? And it's the same thing in the voice. Like, so as we move through the exercises, that we start with the breath outward so that we can recognize the differences that are happening. And like, again, especially when we're kind of retraining those uh, nervous system responses, that we are just automatically, like every time we think we're gonna sing, we think we're pulling our bellies in, right? Like, so it's just an automatic response. Then we just got to be gentle with ourselves, right? Oh yeah, I did that again. Actually, body, we're doing it this way now, right? And then reset and do it over, right? But it's not like some kind of, we tend to think that if we have these things that it's means that I'll never be able to do the thing, right? And it's not. It's just that we built up that habit, and it's it's just a habit. It's just a nervous system response, and we just need to reprogram it. And the more you do the sighs, the more that'll be available. Sighs are so healing and integrating. Like, if you sigh a few times in the morning and the evening, you can reframe anything. Like anything. And I mean anything. You can reframe anything, right? The body absorbs the vibration and it'll use it. It'll use it for whatever is next. That's why we get so hot. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
hot. I'm hot. So
Yeah, I'm warm now. Definitely warm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it gets so hot because like it's like everything is vibrating and moving. So actually, I should probably have this on my description. But like, if you're doing the exercises with us, folks, remember that it is energy movement. It is literal exercise. This is a version of cardio. If you're doing it the way we're doing it, and so drink water. Like, expect to like have a little come down, maybe that the energy might come down a little bit. What I find with my methods is most people realize that they need a nap when they've
I was
done the
just
work.
thinking.
They're like, oh, I am
Oh,
tired. I
that
just
was a
thought,
workout.
because once we get rid of like kind of the pressure and anxiety and the overwhelm, which is what happens naturally as the body is using the sound to heal,
Yeah.
right? And that's why there are no wrong sounds. Like, probably again, there's might be a lot of energy you're expelling with the extra air that you're kind of pushing right now, and that might just be necessary right now for your system to reset. And once that clears, then it'll be more available to you. It's amazing what the body knows intuitively, and when we start moving the energy, it'll just kind of take care of itself, right? And then when we can bring some awareness and consciousness to it, and like intentionally start integrating what we are focusing on and wanting to grow and want to build, like, it really is fun, and it's a really gentle way to be more co-creative, right? Rather than being in control, because that's not a thing, folks. It's not real. That doesn't happen. We are not going to necessarily be in control, but we will have more ability to affect and impact the things around us through presence and consciousness, right? And so that's the goal for most of us. For most of us, that's a goal. So, but like, the biggest lesson here, Imogen, you are really hard on yourself, my dear. Like, you want to get it done over there, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you get a
Yeah.
lot done, but we also need the other sides. Whenever our body especially tells us that, we're like, oh, guess what? Like, after getting, because you kind of feel it too, there's also a lot of energy moving through. So if you weren't tired, like, it would be very, oh, what am I doing next, right? But because you're tired, you're just really aware that I could use a nap. I could sleep right
Yeah.
now, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really nice to just know that, and maybe take it a little easy, get some tea, maybe just close your eyes. Even like 5 minutes with some good breathing
Yeah.
will change your whole day,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm getting out in the sun soon, so that's going to be really good. So I'll definitely
Nice.
do some breathing in the sun.
Yes, yes. Enjoy, enjoy. Well, sorry I went over. I totally lost track of time. Whew. Sorry, guys, I went over. But I will talk to, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't know. No, it says 70 minutes. We've been on here forever. Thanks for playing with me, and we will talk to you guys on YouTube later for the next voice lesson with Monifa.